Adong, and I am the licensing and partnerships manager for Mdundo Uganda. We are here for the first ever Mdundo Music Mixer. It's an artist mixer. So what happens here is we bring artists together, bring artists, talent managers, distributors, label executives, stakeholders in the music industry, and basically anyone in the music industry apart from the events side of it, anyone that plays a role in the music industry, to network with the artists, to network with everyone that is there. We believe there are more opportunities that are available for everyone who comes and reaches out in this kind of communities of gathering. So that is what the mixer is all about. And we also had the opportunity to have Swangz Avenue and Omziki Distribution sharing or giving insights about the ecosystem, basically sharing the roles of everyone in the ecosystem, what licensing will help an artist, how PROs operate, how CMOs operate, how split sheets work, whether or not when or where we need a publisher or not. So that is what the mixer is all about.
As a person that has worked with artists, there are quite many challenges that I've seen that our artists are going through. Some are silent, or some you find that artists are going through them because of ignorance or because of different reasons. So I thought it would be best for us to discuss about the challenges facing the Ugandan music ecosystem. And by the ecosystem, I believe the ecosystem covers everything, or the entire. We're talking about the publishers, we're talking about the promoters, we're talking about the labels, any stakeholder that is involved in the music business, I believe. So I think before we get into that, Ivan, an introduction from you, please.
Hi, sir.
Hi, Ivan.
Thank you for the introduction. Hi, everybody. My name is Ivan Chifumba. I am the head of, a quick correction, not head of music business, head of distribution, licensing, music publishing, content monetization at Swangz Avenue, same as Kelele Digital. Kelele Digital is basically the platform that distributes, monetizes, and administrates, for example, Swangz Avenue's catalog, but the idea is for labels like Swangz Avenue to plug into the supply chain. So yeah, that's basically what I do.
Thank you, Ivan. Hi, Dennis.
Hi. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dennis Wantate, a co-founder of Omziki Distribution, a platform that caters for labels and independent artists to plug into all platforms to monetize, license, and copyright their music.
All right, thank you. Before we continue, I would like you all to know that questions from the audience are also accepted. You just have to raise your hand and ask, because this is a networking event. It's a discussion that we all need to get involved in for the betterment of the industry. So for starters, me as a person, I have had challenges. There's a difference. There's a lot of professionalism when you work with an artist that has a management or that is under a label, as compared to an artist that is a one-man army. Should I say three-man army? He's the artist, he's the manager, he's the promoter, he's the all-in-all. And then sometimes artists don't understand that they need to take it slow, let them do what they're supposed to do, and then let the other people do what they're supposed to do. I mean, they need a team around them. So what do you have to say? How best do we encourage the artists, or what would you think are the root causes of this? Why are the artists not open to teams or management systems, or even working with distributors? Both of you. So whoever goes first.
I believe it's a question of actually taking what it is that you do as serious as it should be taken. I believe an artist is an actual business, but like no business can run. Like if you're the business, then somebody needs to run the business, which is what the management is supposed to do. But locally here, we don't let management do that. We dictate, we tell the manager, do this, do that, but then the business never speaks to the CEO to tell them you do. No, the CEO makes decisions for the business, and then in return, like returns, then guarantee your place as the CEO, which is basically the artist manager. So artist management is a very important thing. I believe creatives and artists should be left to create, should be given the space to create. And then once you plug into management, for the most part in the beginning, most creatives and artists actually don't need like management, the whole thing. A lot of things you can do on your own in the beginning, but there's a level you get to as a creative, as an artist, where you need support, you need a team, and it's evident. There's not an example you can give me of an artist or creative that has made it to a point without a team. So it's important, but it's important for you obviously to trust your team, to deal with very professional people, understand, do your research, their track record, who have they worked with, who have they taken from point A to point Z, and people ignore these very simple details, but like numbers and results matter. So once you do your research and you trust and you trust the person that you put in a position to handle certain things in regards to your business, then you should be given time to create. But then you cannot create, like worry about the creative, then worry about what's happening. It's almost impossible. So there's that issue. There's that issue here where people don't trust someone to come into and organize their business while they worry about the creative. But it's a very important aspect of the business. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, he has made a good point. To add on his point, I mentioned about independent artists. So when we mention about independent artists, tend to think that they're supposed to be one-man army. But we've seen at least get a friend, get a family friend or a family person to help you become a team to do ABCD. An artist cannot do everything. You're the one in bookings. You're the one in making sure your music is distributed. You're the one, what are you going to put on? So it's quite huge. Please artists, allow me use both English and Uganda. Because here in Uganda, another challenge, we use terms people really fail to understand. Like independent. Yes. Abayimbi, neba manager, nebe chikwatako ba promoter. Buli omu omulimu gwo gukole nga bw'olina okugukola. Omuyimbi omulimu gwo kuyimba, so si kuyingirira gwe manager gwakwata sente gwa bookings wuuyo ABCD. Kiriza manager gw'owadde omulimu oba manager akuyise akole omulimu gwe, ojja kulaba business yo eya music we succeeding. Another point is taking this whole thing as a music business. This is business. This is not, it's beyond talent. It's not just tuchikuba mwao. It's not nakubye hit. It's business. So if you treat it as business, that means there have to be rules of manager, akwambaza, like a whole team. So, but if you treat it as nachikubyemu ojja kulowooza buli kiba ojja kikola, you end up failing in the music business. So mbasaba mukitwale nga business nti tebagizanyiramu.
So where do they differentiate between passion and business? Because you find there are some artists that I've interacted with, and you tell them someone uploaded your music illegally, and then for them they think they are famous because someone has uploaded their music illegally onto the streaming platform, and then they forget that this person is being paid for the music, and yet it is their straight. So where should they draw the line for the passion and then go professional? Because they are both important, but there's a line that needs to be drawn somewhere.
I believe I'm going to give them this challenge. Anything you incur must have a return. That is a simple logic. Ekintu kyonna ky'oteekamu ssente kirina okuzza ssente. That is business. Other factors being constant, promoting your music, building your brand, but all comes more the respect to that. Ky'oteekamu ssente kirina okuzza ssente, and more than what you've put in.
And then also, just to add to what he's saying, like usually even like when I'm making the decision to work with an artist, a musician or a creative, I usually ask them like, what is this to you? Is this like something you just do as a hobby, or is this something you want to do like seriously? Like, is this a career you want? Is this a path you want to take as a career? Is this something you want to earn from and leave a legacy and leave something for your kids and stuff? So that's how you gauge like creatives and stuff. So if so those two different types of creatives have different types of scenarios. Yeah. So there's the one who's just, I'm just doing this, and then there's a serious one. So you have to, like, once you establish that as a creative, then you know what path to take. But to take this seriously, you actually have to take it as a career.
Right now we see a lot of things happening. Some artists think you have to be involved in a fight to trend, then release a song. They look at them as strategies or what. So how can one kickstart a career professionally and not be involved in the drama that is happening around? Build your brand, and like, how can they build their career? How can they build their brand to stand out as a musician? Because in Uganda we find a challenge that there is no, as someone who works with the distribution service, I'll honestly say Ugandan music is only consumed in Uganda. That is point blank. When you find any Ugandan song being searched for across Uganda, it is because that person has done a collabo with an artist from the other country, and they'll search for it for like 2 weeks and it is gone. But then Ugandan music is very good, because I've interacted with some Kenyan artists and they would say, you guys have very good music, like there's that melody that Ugandan songs have that we the Kenyans don't have. So, but I think we have the craft, we know how to package our thing well. The problem is, how can an artist build a career around music? And with this, I think we have to delve into the split sheets and all that.
Yeah, just to dive in real quick. I bit like, again, once you establish that this is like something serious that you want to do, understand, like, go back to basics. How do I start? How do I create a brand? How do I start a business? How do I establish a business? But of course, you have to make sure that the product, obviously, you cannot build a business around a product that isn't perfect or assured or something. So you have to make sure the product, which is the music, and then you as the artist, as the brand, you're also the product. So you have to make sure you're top notch, your brand is top notch, your music is top notch. Then once you do that, you sit down and then and this is the hard part that people run away from. Like, you don't want to sit down and actually evaluate what it is you're doing and accept that this is a serious thing I'm doing. Let me plan, let me sit down, let me even make a business plan. Actually, artists need business plans. Like, let nobody even like lie to you. You need a business plan. You need to know what's my input, what's my output. If I go to Serah and I ask her for 10 million and I want to put it here, but I want to release, like, any business, you need a business plan. So, and that's where we fail as artists. If you feel like I want to do music for real as a career, as a musician, you have to have a business plan. There's no way around it. That's what I think.
There's discipline. This business has almost failed here because of discipline. you're speaking about an artist trending has to fight. That means we are losing discipline. The fact that it's even business, again, we are indisciplined in that business. It must fail. Because you can't fight in a business. So discipline must be number one in this business. Then what his points are right, are correct. I love them. Secondly, among the things he has mentioned, artists and perhaps they are the managers, there are certain things they run away from. The serious things. The fact that we are distributors, they hate distributing their music. That means they are hating to put their products out there. I'm pretty sure what I'm talking about, Mdundo has experienced. That if your product is not on Mdundo, how will people know that your product is there? Because Mdundo will take it to be a marketplace. So please distribute your content. Let your content be seen. Let your content be accessible to all over, making it a good business.
You talked about distribution, and I think as we delve into distribution, I think it will be best if we understand the different roles. Let's say, who is a distributor? Because we have distributors, we have guys that license the music, we have publishers. So who is who? I believe let's start with the publishers. How would you define a publisher to an independent artist who doesn't know that I need to work with do I need a publisher or not?
I would say maybe you start with the word licensing, because licensing I think covers distribution, it covers music publishing, it covers sync. Licensing is basically, let me give you permission to use this content in whatever, but then let me get at least compensated for this.
I'm sorry to jump in. There's a saying here that Peter Kajano we masaka tachitegede. Don't laugh. We experience these things. Licensing chitegeza ompadde olukusa oba sekyo nkuwadde olukusa okukozesa platform otunde ekintu kyo. There must be ebanga agreement obanga access permission nti okkirizibwa to use ABCD.
Yeah, so once we go from there, licensing, so that covers distribution, music publishing, and everything. For me, I believe different levels of creative and artist require a different type of service, but it's all the same thing, licensing. So once we understand that, then we can get into the distribution and music publishing. But if we start with music publishing basically covers composers, songwriters, music producers, people who actually sit and write the music. So writing the music can mean I wrote the lyrics, I wrote the words, and then I played the music. I'm on the keyboard and I'm playing the music. So that music publishing covers that. So yeah, but then that's licensing. So for me to give you the permission for Spotify to play that song, they have to pay me because I am the composer, I am the songwriter. So that's a license. But then now you need entities. There's people that come in between you and that person. I don't know if that makes sense. There's people that comes between there's an entity that comes between you, the creator, the songwriter, and the radio station that's playing the song. For you to that song is going to generate a revenue because it's playing on that radio station, but for somebody to collect that for you, there's an entity in between there that helps you collect that as a composer, songwriter.
The aggregator. Let's take the radio, the Spotify's as a marketplace. Mdundo as a marketplace. That you as a creative You don't need to worry about what is going to happen, the deals that are going to happen on Spotify, Mdundo, any marketplace. There is an aggregator in between. So that is the person that licenses on behalf of your content.
An agent, basically.
Exactly.
So I don't know if that has been clearly understood, because remember there are some artists that have sold their rights, their master rights, and they don't know. They'll practically tell you samanya, okay? Because someone is giving you 50 million, you're selling your entire album, you think they're just going to use it for I don't know, a year or two, and then you believe they'll get that money back, or you'll start using your song. But these guys are going to keep using the song for over 50 years, and you're not gaining anything out of it.
So that's what brings us to split sheets. There's that document called a split sheet that usually in a session, when you walk into a session, you might be 2 producers, 2 songwriters, or 1 songwriter, 2 producers. But then if you're all working on that, so it depends in that scenario. That's why the business, it's important for us to be educated, because in that scenario, either I am work for hire, pay me my 5 million, I write you this song, Nchivem. That's one scenario. Or there is, let's work, I take this percentage of the composition and maybe this fee, and then yeah, that's also. But then, so where people get it wrong is they get into these situations and sessions and never come to legal terms. There is no legal paperwork to actually state what's my input in this creation. That's where the split sheets come from, and it's important for any creator to know what that is.
And before you get on, Dennis, please, where can a local Ugandan artist find a split sheet? I mean, do they have to go to labels, or it's something you can just draft locally and say, tukoze endagano, chigwera wano, or
what we are speaking about takes us back. I wanted to emphasize business, music business. The fact that they don't sign these things, all don't know about these things, it's because they don't understand the business. So, self-education is also important. There are a lot of music sessions that I've always been seeing online and physically that are educating about these things. So, one, to have a split sheet, it can be even an agreement, as long as they sign that ABC A as written goes for this percentage, B as produced goes for this percentage, as simple as that. However, online these split sheets are there, and even on our websites are there in the resources. Split sheets, collaborations, but here you find Gundi to you just how we've spoken. Then tune nefuka problem. One will either abandon or the other will enjoy. We've seen it. It all goes back to split sheet. If they split, that means they will respect what they agreed on. The percentage they earn, be it performance or online, to pushing or promoting the project. So split sheets are available online, even on our website, free of charge.
That's omziki.com.
That's omziki.com.
You have anything to add on, Ivan?
No, that's basically it. Like all this information, by the way, like a lot of this information it's available online. You just need to need to understand what is it I want and where can I find it. But then again, as a creative, you can actually hire people. Even distribution, you can sit down and distribute your song. You can go to a TuneCore, a DistroKid and distribute your song. But there's a level where you need Omziki or Kelele to say, here's my product, or this is what I have, this is my release year, my release calendar, this is how many releases I have, can you help me handle this while I focus on other things, which is where we come in as distributors.
Exactly. And artists or creators of this generation have an advantage of internet. One, When we say independence, we mean someone can go create your account, upload your music at your convenience. Oluyimba olumaze kiro sawa 8 gwa kiro, oyagala duteekayo lugende ku marketplaces zonna Mdundo n'endala okikolako. But what we are trying to advise or emphasize that sometimes these things are frustrating, they are tiresome. Employ someone or get someone to help you manage that. Wetuyingiriramu management. That's it.
Management of the
Management, distribution, but like there are all these different things. You may need a promoter. You can't book all your gigs. You can't, like, there's so many things. As a musician, there's so many different people you need on your team, which is maybe something we should have started with. Like knowing, like, as a musician, what are, like, there's a certain level you get to where there are 4 to 5 key people you have to have on your team for you to get from point A to point B. Yeah.
For example, I don't believe artists understand what is behind Mdundo, the heavy work, right? So same thing has to happen to them with the team, that team A is doing this, team B is doing this, team C is doing this, to make the brand go out there.
So how can an artist be helped to identify the right people? Because there are those people that come and show and so on, but we're all just words, and then at the end of the day they don't know they are also learning on the job. And if you're to build a career, you need someone who knows what they're doing. So how can an artist identify that this is the right licensing person I can work with, this is the right distribution company, these structures for this label will favor me or will help my career take on to another shift? So how can an artist be helped?
One, kino kankyongere mu Luganda, tusale pressure. Abayimbi, tusale pressure. What do I mean here? Something comes up, they're giving you 50 million, 20 million, 10 million, 5 million, 1 million, we've seen them. Chap chap, the person has signed. Take your time, get that document, give it to a friend, a lawyer. And I've mentioned friends and family in business. I don't mean mukore kumumwa. Jot down your agreement that yes, you're my sister, you're my brother, you're doing this for me, but on a pay, and your obligations are these. State them. Now, identifying the right people, of course, comes with a cost when it comes to the artist. For example, you might find a manager and the manager is showing you their obligations they can do for your brand. Perhaps you can't manage the costs. There's always a way. Today we have the internet. Again, we have a lot of platforms like Omziki that can help you independently distribute your music. Get advice on how you can promote your music online. For example, today I've learned that Mdundo can assist an artist to get media tours all over the countries you're in. If you're collaborating with Omziki, that means we shall pass on that incentive to the artist. If that artist is an independent artist, that means they are already on the journey of getting their music or brand out there before even incurring a lot of costs. So I believe pressure tujikakanya, we take our time, read these agreements, take our time to scout which person am I going to work with. If it's a family member or friend, let us be strict agreement, and respecting the agreement goes back to discipline.
And just to add to that, it's just basic research. Like if I walk up to you and I say, hey, I want to manage you, I want to do this and that, just do your research, just basic research. Like find out who have you managed, what are the results, have you managed anyone that has gotten from here to here, and then make your decision based on that. You can't make those types of blind decisions. If someone wants to take like work with you to build your career, understand where they're coming from. Even if they don't have a track record, at least then you know, okay, this is somebody I trust, which is very important. If you trust them, then, but I would advise if you want to make that type of decision, at least do your research on whoever it is that you're giving that type of responsibility.
That's great. I don't know if we have some questions from these ends before I continue. And on the side of labels, are you as... There's a question. Sorry.
Okay, greetings guys. Nice to see you. I'm Lukimatic. I would like to ask these two gentlemen to elaborate more about publishing, because from the little research Jenakola, I found out that artists or creatives, they tend to miss much revenue just simply because they don't know what the publishing is or what to do when they want to do it. So I would really want you two guys, the experts, to elaborate more and then tell us how can the artist, the Peter Kajan of Masaka, be helped through the publishing side. Thanks.
Thank you, Lukimatic. True, we didn't go in details when it came to publishing or licensing, distribution. When you speak about this, a project almost has 200% of royalties. 100% is in distribution and another 100% is in publishing. We've seen and we've sung a lot of songs about distribution, not publishing. In fact, we wanted even to add on neighboring rights. Publishing, you'll find there are a lot of creatives or credits that are supposed to go to particular individuals that have added something on the project. For example, producer. Now we've added graphic designer, arranger, mixer, the composers, the lyricists. All those are catered for under publishing. Now, almost 90% or 80% of Ugandan music is not published but distributed. That means there are a lot of royalties left on the table. Going back to neighboring rights, these are royalties collected by music being played in bars, public, TVs, radios, etc. Still, these are the royalties that artists or creatives have left out or they have left on the table. Yet, it is as simple as registering for publishing, neighboring rights. We go beyond just distribution. The fact that, of course, you can't collect these royalties when you've not distributed. We've done a good job on distributing. Now let's collect these other royalties, sync royalties. There are many royalties to be collected under publishing.
It's like for every song that gets released, every individual song, one audio, generates like 3 to 4 different royalties and revenues that most people never see. They just get the distribution, but they ignore.
The moment they perform, that's it.
I think most artists believe the only money they make is from performances.
From shows and
because
stuff. Because
they were hit really hard during COVID when they now really had to rely on streaming funds or money coming from streaming platforms other than just the performances because everyone was locked.